Hey, it's Etan. So not everything on the National Register of Historic Places is a man-made building. I'm here in Glendora at the Glendora Bougainvillea, which is believed to be the largest planting of this gorgeous magenta flower in the entire country. So it's wrapped around about 24 palm trees that are stretched along 1,200 feet of Minnesota and Bennett Avenues in Glendora. The bougainvillea was originally planted by Helen Hamlins. She and her husband Reuben were wealthy citrus growers that came from Canada down here in the late 1800s, and they planted a huge orange grove that used to take up the entire block. The orange grove and the palm trees went up in the late 1890s. The bougainvillea itself was planted somewhere in between 1900 and 1903. By the 1930s, 1940s, they were reaching heights of about 70 feet stretching up those palm trees. In more recent years, they've installed these metal trellises to help the vines snake back up higher. Also worth noting is this 20-inch retaining wall made out of cobblestone. This was added in 1912 to protect some of the soil from blowing away. These walls used to be a common feature of all of the orange groves that you found around this area. Now, this is partly on the National Register because of the way that the bougainvillea symbolizes California's citrus growing past. Back at the turn of the century, when they were planted, citrus was one of the main industries in Southern California. Bougainvillea was a very common landscaping feature that surrounded a lot of the different citrus groves around here, and usually they were on fences and walls. You can imagine how picturesque this would have been before all of these condos were here. They actually used to make postcards of the bougainvillea that they would sell in town in Glendora. This bougainvillea is also a great example of how plants spread throughout the world. So bougainvillea was native to South America, and it was first brought to Europe by Louis-Antoine Bougainville, who is a French explorer. And then it came to America in around 1870, we think on a whaling ship. These vines were some of the last surviving examples of the two bougainvillea strains that were brought over on that whaling ship back in 1870. So important from a horticultural perspective as well. The former Hamlin orchard was divided up into condos in the 1980s, and the property is now known, of course, as Rancho del Bougainvillea. Whoever is tending to these beautiful plants is doing a bang-up job. It's still the pride of Glendora and one of LA's great natural wonders. Thanks for doing LA with me.